Hi friends, this is Caitlin and today I'm partnering up with an amazing card maker named Jess from the YouTube channel Jess Crafts with a really fun challenge. We're each using the Hello Bluebird Cocoa Party stamp set and a pop of gold to make a card project today. I think this is going to be so fun to see how we each interpret this set and see how similar or different our projects end up. I'll be linking Jess's video in the description box for you, so make sure you go check out her video too. And if you're here for the first time because of Jess, welcome. I hope you enjoy this project, and I hope you stick around for some fun. The first thing I did was pick out two different patterns from the Fawn Let It Shine paper pack from last year. I really love the gold speckles on this red, and I thought it would be a fun way to incorporate that gold pop to start out with. So I have a regular A2 sized 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 of the green and white stripe, and then I die cut a smaller rectangle with a double stitch rectangle die from My Favorite Things from the red. So those are going to be our two main panels. And now I'm going in with 3 of the cutest little critters from that Hello Bluebird Cocoa Party stamp set and stamping them out with my Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink onto my Copic Express It paper. That's what I was using today. I also cut out a piece of scrap white cardstock with that double stitched rectangle, and I just used, half of it or whatever fit in that piece because I'm going to be using a hill stitched die on the top part, so the top part doesn't matter. But the bottom part, I just wanted it to line up really nicely with my double stitch rectangle in that red panel. And I stamped my sentiment onto it, which says, "You're the marshmallow to my cocoa," which is so cute. And right now I'm going into heat emboss with some clear Versamark ink and some gold embossing powder. I thought that would be a cute way to pop in my gold, so I would have at least 2 strong gold. So this is the little Merry Christmas banner for their little party that they're setting up, and I wanted to be able to hang that from the top of my panel, so I had kind of that rounded cupped angle at the top and then the rounded hill on the bottom, and then my little critters will go right in the middle, and I think it looks so cute. I really love how the die for this cuts around those letters, so it really does look like a little party banner, like custom made for this scene. So sweet. So now I'm going in with liquid glue to start adhering my panels together. I put my red onto my green stripes, and I end up putting my sentiment section down, but I held off on gluing down that banner at the top just because I wanted to make sure that I had room for all of my little critters. The bear and especially that deer are pretty tall, and so I wanted to wait until I had them glued down before I went in with my banner and decided where that was going to go. So now I'm going in with my Copics and coloring in my sweet little critters, and I decided that I wanted this bear to be a polar bear, and the trick with making them look white and not gray is to make sure that you leave plenty of white space. So I'm going in with my neutral grays, but you can see I'm really sticking right up against the edge of that artist drawn line so that it really does look like a shadow and not like a gray bear when all of this is said and done. I also sometimes like to go in with warm grays for polar bears. I feel like when you see pictures of polar bears in real life, they have kind of that yellowy undertone to them. So I think that those are really pretty, but I knew because I was going to have some white on this card with the stripes and that sentiment at the bottom that I wanted him to be a pretty neutral white and not that warm gray tone. You can see I also pulled over my patterned paper so that I could use it to color match with my markers. I really wanted to make sure that I had the right kind of red and green, especially because these Lawn Fawn colors on that paper are so fun and unique. It's not just, a regular green, it's kind of a blue green, and the red is a very true, like, blue toned holiday red. And so I picked my red markers to kind of match in with that. I wanted my polar bear to have that really pretty red against the white. And then for my other 2 little critters, I kind of changed it up so that none of them really match. And you can see I literally pulled my my hex chart from Sandy Allnock over to color match with those greens, and I kind of made a weird combination with the G28 and some of my BG markers, but you'll see once they're blended together, they really do work to match with that stripe pattern. So don't be afraid to try something different or try mixing some markers that maybe aren't in the same family or that you wouldn't normally go to, because the way that Copics layer, you can really basically create a custom color for whatever project you need if you just get a little creative with it. I'm also going in with 2 layers of these markers because the first layer blended out so well that I kind of lost some of the contrast I was looking for. So never be afraid to layer up your markers as well. And now I'm going in with some of the red tones that I used on the polar bear sweater just to help tie in the patterns and make all their sweaters kind of go together without being matchy-matchy. I really like the idea of using a limited color palette for this card and really sticking with the green, the red, and the white, and then neutrals for the critters. So I went in with the same green tones for the polar bear's cup as I did for the deer sweater, and vice versa for the deer's cup with the bear sweater, kind of just reusing the same combinations and letting them all kind of coordinate together. Also helps to keep it on theme for something like Christmas, where you can do any color combination you want, but that red and green really does very quickly tell the recipient what the theme or the reason for the card is. So now I'm going in to color in this sweet little deer, and I went in with the E29 just to give myself some contrast, and then going in with E30s for some nice soft and neutral browns, a little on the warmer side just because the polar bear was more neutral. I kind of wanted to keep things nice and warm because the fox is going to be a very orange fox. So the deer is kind of happily in the middle between those guys, not physically but on the color scale. So I hope you guys are having a great October. It is definitely a little bit out of my comfort zone to be working on Christmas cards in October. I know that for most people that is normal, and obviously for me and Jess, it worked out perfectly for this coordinated video challenge that we tried to work out. But I have to admit, it was definitely a little weird to try to step away from Halloween and focus on Christmas. I very happily went directly back to Halloween after I made this card. But it is nice to kind of get that spark going because I know in just a couple weeks we'll skip right over Thanksgiving and it'll be Christmas time and everybody getting in the Christmas spirit and all of the card making. And I guess I'm going to have to be here for it, even if I don't feel quite ready yet. So I'd love to hear how you guys are feeling about Christmas and the holidays and card making, though. Definitely leave me a comment below and let me know, are you already making cards? Did you never even stop making Christmas cards? Are you like me and you're desperately clinging on to fall and not ready for Christmas cards? Definitely let me know. I'm very curious to see if I'm alone here or not. And really quickly, sorry, back to the card. I gave my fox a sweet little white sweater with some candy cane red stripes at the bottom. And then I went in with a neutral marker to color in his whipped cream. And I also added a little bit of that neutral marker to the marshmallows. Not really sure you can actually tell at the end of the project, but I know it's there. So the little fox was just so sweet, and I think he balances out the other critters really well. As always, I went in with my white gel pen to just give little highlights to the eyes and the noses. I also added in a couple patterns and some spots on the deer sweater just to add in an extra little detail here and there. And then it was time to die cut out my, I'm speeding ahead. I gave my polar bear a little extra steam in his hot chocolate first, and then it was time to die cut out my sweet little critters with the coordinating dies from Hello Bluebird. And these are just so cute. I'm not afraid to fussy cut, but I have to tell you, there's something so satisfying about that like perfect white edge that you get from a die cut. I really do enjoy that, I'm not gonna lie. So before I glued down my critters though, I did go in with my neutral gray markers one more time and added in little shadows to under their feet where their feet were gonna go, and then blended them out with a couple lighter markers just so that they would be a little more grounded on that sentiment white strip at the bottom and not just free floating. This isn't really meant to be snow exactly, but I guess it could be. I didn't leave them like footprints like how they got there, but I just thought it would help to ground them a little bit on the space that they were in, since I didn't really do any background coloring or anything like that. Then it was time to glue down our sweet little Merry Christmas banner, and I just trimmed off the edges so they would line up with the edges of that double stitched frame. And I just think that this is so cute. I would 100% love to be at this cocoa party. I've never actually been to a cocoa party, but if those are a thing, I want to start going to them because they sound perfect. I want to give a huge thank you shout out to Jess. I'm so grateful that you did this challenge with me, and I cannot thank you enough for your support. If you're new and visiting from Jess's channel, please click that subscribe button because I put out new videos usually every Friday, and we have a ton of fun here, and I'd love for you to join the friend family. I'll be back next Friday with one last Halloween card, and until then, I hope you have a great week and happy crafting.